Did you guys hear the crunch? Today we're going to be making the ultimate party snack, Buffalo Cauliflower Wings. Perfect for game day or any kind of get-together. They are crispy with a super tangy sauce that packs just the right amount of heat, and plus they're super fun to make. Let's jump right in. First, we're going to start off by cutting our cauliflower. I'm using a super big cauliflower head today, and I'm just going to use half of this. It yields about 4 cups of cauliflower florets. First, I just cut the stem off and then cut it in half and take a small knife and get in there and cut out the cauliflower florets. Now we have our cauliflower florets all ready to go, and I'm just going to set those aside because now we're going to start making our batter. So in a bowl or a slightly deep dish, we are just going to combine some white flour. You could also use a 1-to-1 gluten-free substitute if you are gluten-free, some cornstarch and baking powder. These are both going to draw moisture out of the cauliflower and just really make that outside really nice and extra crispy, along with a spice mix. Here we have some onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and salt. We're also going to add some freshly ground black pepper. Then we're just going to use a whisk and mix it all together to make sure it gets all nice and combined. And now for our liquid ingredients, we're going to add some plant-based milk. I like using soy milk, along with some hot sauce. I use Frank's Red Hot. It is my favorite hot sauce, and I really haven't tried this recipe with another one, so I can't speak to that, along with some apple cider vinegar. And now we're going to just mix the wet and dry ingredients together. So this should form like a thick batter-like substance. And as you can see, it has those little bubbles in there that comes from the baking powder, which is activated. Next, to a shallow bowl or plate, I'm going to add some panko breadcrumbs. These are going to coat the outside of the cauliflower once they're breaded, just to make them extra crispy. I'm going to start off by adding 1 cup and add more if we need to. And now for the fun part, we're going to start assembling the cauliflower florets and getting them ready to bake in the oven. So you're going to take each individual cauliflower floret and you're going to dip it into the batter. Make sure you get all sides nice and covered. Then you're going to throw it into the panko breadcrumbs and cover it with your other hand. I do this so I don't get both hands all dirty. They still kind of end up getting dirty, both of them, but this does kind of help. So 1 hand for wet, 1 hand for dry. And then you cover the cauliflower floret with the breadcrumbs so it has a perfectly nice coating. And then we're going to set each of them onto the baking sheet. And just repeat that process with all of your cauliflower florets. Just be sure to not overcrowd your baking sheets. You want a little bit of space between each of the cauliflower florets. If they don't have enough space, they're not going to get nice and crispy. So if you still have raw cauliflower florets left over, that's okay. Just use them for something else. I don't know what it is about this process, but I find it really fun. I feel like it's really exciting whenever you're making a dish like this. Maybe it's game day, maybe you're going to a party, just getting together with friends, or just having like a nice night at home with a different dish. It's just kind of fun to make something different sometimes. Now we have all of the florets perfectly placed on the baking sheet, not too close together so they have enough space to brown. I previously drizzled this baking sheet with oil to make sure that they didn't stick. You can do that or either use some baking paper. All right, now these bad boys are ready to go in the oven. I cannot wait to see how they turn out. We're going to bake them at 450 degrees Fahrenheit, 230 degrees Celsius for about 25 minutes until they're nice and crispy. While our cauliflower is baking, we're going to move on to making our buffalo sauce. I wanted a sauce that was spicy but not overwhelmingly hot, and I think I found the perfect combination. The sauce is spicy, but it's also a little bit creamy and just a tad bit sweet. I think the flavors go so well together. So to a saucepan, we are going to combine some hot sauce. I'm using Frank's Red Hot again, along with some vegan butter. This is just going to add a nice richness to the buffalo sauce, along with some garlic powder and maple syrup. You could also use brown sugar if you don't have any maple syrup on hand. And now we're going to heat all of these ingredients over a low heat just until the butter melts. And it's good to just keep stirring it frequently. And once the butter is melted, we are going to add in a cornstarch slurry. This is just 2 tablespoons of cornstarch mixed with 2 tablespoons of water. And this is just going to help the sauce to thicken slightly. And lastly, we are going to add in some plant-based natural yogurt. This is going to balance out the flavors of that spicy hot sauce and it's also going to make the sauce slightly creamy. Once that has cooked together for a few minutes and it's all nice and thick, all right, these guys are done baking. They've gotten nice and a little bit brown on the top. They're also on the bottom. Let's see. They're like also nice and crispy and brown. We are going to let these cool because whenever they come out, they are very hot, and it's good to just let them cool down a little bit before we dig in. Now for the magic moment, time to taste them. I'm gonna give one a taste without the sauce first, just to see how it is. These are really good on their own. The breading really has a lot of flavor, and the texture in the middle of the cauliflower is just really nice. And now there are a few ways that you can use the buffalo sauce with the wings. You can just dip them in the buffalo sauce, so then that way you can take as much as you want, or you can drizzle the sauce all over the wings so they're covered but not completely, whichever one you like best. I'm going to drench one. This hot sauce is the perfect balance of spicy and a little bit sweet. I really like this combination. Just eating these like makes me feel like it's party time. I feel like all excited. Let me know in the comments when you're going to make these cauliflower wings. Is it for game day? Is it for a party? Either way, I know you're gonna have fun and that you're gonna love them. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we will see you next time.